Are you good? I'm good. Thank you, Jen. You're welcome. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started. We all rise and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Sam, will you call the roll?
Carrie Armagos. Here. Megan Dreyer. Here. Jen White.
Here.
Diane Page.
Here.
Corey Sherman.
Here.
Lena Southworth. Denise Stumpf. Here. Kelly Terwilliger.
Here.
Mark Bertel.
Here.
All right, thank you, everybody. So did everyone have the minutes available? Did anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes? I'll make a motion that we accept the official minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, do we have any public participation this evening? No? Okay. Moving right along. We do have a presentation by the senior class members, class of 2022, about their senior trip.
I am the senior class member.
Okay.
I was not anticipating on doing this by myself.
You'll do great.
You'll do just fine.
Bear
So
with
if you will just make sure you state your name before we get started. And I apologize, I did not speak it.
Okay, I am Malia Connor, and I will be presenting our proposal to go on our senior trip. So our plan is to go to Virginia. The dates that we were planning to go would be April 28th to April 30th. We have 75% interest in going. We'll be traveling to Williamsburg. So our plan for Thursday is to visit Busch Gardens, take a ghost tour that night, and check into our hotel. Friday, we plan to visit an adventure park, go to the Virginia Beach Boardwalk, and go on a dinner cruise. And Saturday, we plan on visiting Jamestown Settlement, doing a glass blowing demonstration, and visiting Luray Caverns. And with that, I ask if you guys have any questions or comments, anything.
So 75% will be how many kids?
I think we have 31 out of 41.
Are you planning on using a bus to get down there and back?
Yeah, we have planned to use a charter bus, right?
And are you guys, Malia, are you guys using a tour company? Are you just planning this on your own, or how's that going to work?
We are planning this on our own.
And have you identified anybody yet who's interested in being a chaperone?
So far, we have obviously Mrs. Rothen, Mrs. Farrington, Mrs. Rothen's husband, and most likely Mr. Green.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for Malia? Are we good? Can we then put somebody to make a motion under new business for that? So let's not forget that when we go down there. All right, Malia, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
moving right along this evening. Any board concerns that we need to talk about? No, all right. Well, I do have something here. And I'm gonna take this off because my glasses are fogging up and I'm gonna read this. So tonight we have a special little presentation. Usually somebody from PSBA would be here to do this, but you know, times as they are, it is what it is, right? So, you know, being on a school board, especially the last couple of years, is not the easiest thing, right? We've all put in a lot of hours and a lot of extra work, and I feel like we have been a pretty cohesive group this year, and this has been one of the best boards I've ever worked with, so I'm very happy about that. So this is to go to Kelly for her 12 years of service now. Thank you. Yes. So I'm just gonna read this to you real quick. This is what Jim Somerville would have said had he been here. School board service has long been a crucial part of our nation's legacy and its commitment to public education. As the first school boards association in the United States, PSBA has a rich history with more than 125 years of service. The commensurate school directors are described as ethical, principled individuals with a deep desire to serve. They believe in the value of our public schools and local control of public education for the benefit of all students. Today, school districts are expected to offer more services along with world-class instruction with limited resources. These expectations provide a tremendous challenge for school directors, unpaid volunteers who give up their time to contribute to the schools and communities they serve. Schools' continued efforts to provide high-quality, continuous education to all students during the pandemic further highlights the key role school directors play in educating our children. For more than 35 years, PSBA has been recognizing the contributions of dedicated local school directors with long-term service. The honor roll is the association's way of thanking those individuals who exemplify leadership by giving unselfishly of their time and talents for the betterment of the public schools, serving students across this great Commonwealth. So, thank you so much, and I hope you're here for a couple more years. But here's a nice certificate that they give you. Thank you very much. All right, you are feeling. We take it off. Yeah.
I could have said it all down really good.
Yes, you could. Are you good?
All right, we're good. Thanks.
Thanks, Jen.
Perfect, absolutely.
You surprised me with that one.
It's always nice when we have long-term folks. So, okay. Hearing no other board concerns, let's move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that anybody would like to have removed to discuss individually? Okay,
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Treasurer.
All right, under finance and purchase, do we have Stacy yet?
No, she has that conference next week.
Oh, right.
All righty, under finance and purchase, I'd like to lump together A through G and make a motion that, or I move that we approve these reports.
Second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I think. Did we have a cafeteria report in our packet? I thought I saw it.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
asking. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I saw one too. I was like, wait, what? So, yeah. So it was in your packet. All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item H, consideration to accept the Universal Service Administrative Company, ECF funding commitment decision letter dated October 12, 2021 for a grant in the amount of $73,085.20 as attached. Purchase items as outlined in the following quote, and upon receipt of the signed PEPPM contract from CDW. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about this?
Just a couple comments. This was a grant that Terry Longo, Aaron, Kyle, and Jeff Raybuck and RJ Fight had worked on. It was money that came down from the E-rate application that we submit each and every year. Kind of came to us late. We had to work very diligently on that to get submitted. So kudos to the group that put time and energy into it. We worked with Zach on the next agenda item to ensure that we're able to get out there and buy that equipment from the Pepin contract. It's on part of the state business. And we're really excited. Jeff and Aaron couldn't be more happy. So we're hoping to get this purchase made more and more.
Any other questions? Yes, so this will definitely help in terms of our technology budget, moving forward. This is a nice boost to it, so. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item I, consideration to approve quote number MKSC394 from CDW-G dated October 13, 2021, in the amount of $72,996 for the purchase of Chromebooks as listed. 130 HP Chromebook 11 MKG9 Education Edition, 80 HP Chromebook 14 G6, and 50 HP Chromebook times 36 11 MKG3 Education Editions as attached. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about this? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. All right, personnel. Megan, you want to do personnel today?
A, consideration to retroactively approve the request from employee number 84 to use Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 as unpaid leave. So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
B, consideration to retroactively approve the request from employee number 391 to use Friday, October 1st, 2021 as unpaid leave. So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
C, consideration to hire Mike Meals as head varsity girls basketball coach pending receipt of all appropriate documentation at a supplemental salary of $3,619.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
D, consideration to hire Valerie Snyder as assistant varsity girls basketball coach pending receipt of all appropriate documentation at a supplemental salary of $2,047.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, Diane, do you want to do instructional services? Sure.
We have the elementary report.
Sure. So this past Friday, October 15th, the Emlenton, it was Fire Safety Day here at East Valley Elementary. The Emlenton and Parker volunteer fire departments visited our campus. We had their trucks all parked out back. Many of their volunteers were here as well to teach our students about fire safety. Grades 3 through 6 had a live presentation led by Fireman Rick Hansler from the Parker Volunteer Fire Department, and that was in their community rooms. And then pre-K through 2 had similar presentations led by Trevor Kyle, our very own fire. Every grade level also had the chance to go out and visit the fire trucks and learn more about the trucks and the equipment on them and how the firemen use them. And additionally, the Venango County Fire Chiefs Association provided their smokehouse trailer. Students get to tour that and learn about what to do in fire emergencies through simulated demonstrations. So like if something catches on fire in your stove or if there's smoke coming under your door, it's a pretty cool little trailer to go through. And I want to give a huge thanks to Trevor Kyle Collins after bringing this program to us every year. He makes all the contacts, creates the schedule for the day, and just keeps me updated along the way. So it's fantastic he does that for us. This week at school is National Bus Safety Week, October 18th to the 22nd. Here at the elementary, we're marking that occasion by dedicating our morning PBIS time to activities that encourage our students to be stars on their buses. As part of this week, our district is also participating in PennDOT's Operation Safe Stop, which will happen this Wednesday, October 20th. Operation Safe Stop is a proactive approach to educate the motoring public that passing a stopped school bus when children are loading or unloading is both dangerous and illegal. Their goal is to raise public awareness about potential consequences and to reduce the occurrence of illegal school bus passes. And this involves our bus drivers having a tracking form, and they track any school bus related traffic violations they see on the routes during the day of the 20th, and then submit them to me, and I submit them to PennDOT's special driver program unit. This doesn't mean that we don't track this on other days, of course. Anytime there's a violation, drivers record as much information as they can in the moment and report it directly to the state police. This program is an additional layer to protect school students as they travel to and from school. And lastly, today, the elementary school welcomed 4 aspiring educators from Slippery Rock University. The field experience for these block students lasts from October 18th to November 12th. They will be learning and growing under the guidance of 5 of our outstanding teachers. This is Megan Bashline, Mrs. Stacy Fox, Mrs. Sarah Heil, Ms. Carrie Longo, and Ms. Sarah McCord. And we're very excited for them to get to know AC Valley and become as much in love with it as we are. We hope they leave us feeling confident and prepared for the next step of their journey, because we sure need them. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Sherman. Dr. Jordan, do you have a secondary report, please?
Last week, we conducted our annual pay survey of the high school. This is a survey that the county provides that asks questions of our students in grades 8, 9, and 11. Basically, questions about drug use, about cigarette smoking, alcohol use, things like that. And I just wanted to make sure that the community was aware that this is something that we do every year. And all the schools in Clarion County take this test and they compare the data from one school to the other to try to see trends. We also use those pieces of data to be able to provide some counseling service and guidance services of the high school to try to help our students to see clearly when it comes to those issues. This week, we will have the military come into the school providing the ASVAB test. And the results of this are also very important and can be used actually for graduation, part of the graduation requirements that the state has put out. Along with that thought, thinking about graduation, I put this sheet here that's provided by the state that's the pathways to graduation. And if you look at that, it kind of guides a student through the decision-making process. One thing that we need to keep in mind is that, number one, the very first part up there, the key component to this is the proficiency on the Keystone tests. If you go down through there and if you look, the score on the Keystone test has to be a 1500 or higher. If it's not, then that means the student is not proficient and would be satisfied when you move down to the second part of the pathway. This is a good guide for students to have the first three pathways, but it's not the only ones. But it's certainly the most succinct and the easiest way to be able to get that requirement made up. We will be working with the 11th grade students actually tomorrow after some of the ASVAB testing to talk to them about where they stand as far as graduation next year and be giving them a little bit of advice as far as the testing component. Right now, Mrs. Logan and I went through our data for 11th grade, and 43% of our students have completely completed the requirements for graduation for the state. So that's good. That's actually good. And many of the other students are signed up to retake the Keystone exams in the area where they were deficient in the past. So hopefully we can get more of those students to be 100% complete with the first step of that pathway. We will be working also with 10th grade and 9th grade this year so that they are aware of what those requirements are and start to get them planning for doing the best they can on those assessments so that, again, they don't have to find another pathway that is much more complicated with that first piece. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew also the end of the first grading period is the 28th. That's next week. And it's hard to believe that we are already 1/4 of the way through. Under the athletic tab, I wanted to let everybody know this is the final week for regular season athletics. Playoffs for all fall sports will begin next Monday. Our football team is doing very well with a record of 7 wins and 1 loss, with a very, very big game down Union against Red Bank. So good luck to them and all of our athletes. I also wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that tickets for all PIAA events will be done online this year through the hometown ticketing. We put a link on our athletic webpage, and it will become live once the dates and the locations for those events are announced. Also at your seat, I placed the end of the season golf report. And finally, I want to bring attention to this flyer that reads across America. The National Honor Society every year needs to have that community service component. And part of their volunteerism this year is to raise money so that they can purchase wreaths and place those wreaths at the tombstones of some of our dead veterans. So as much as, the NHS, the members want me to announce that and try to get as much public participation as possible, which you probably will be hearing from some of those members as they go out into the community. And that's all I have for my secondary report. Thank you.
We have the federal programs report.
Diane, I'm going to cover that during my superintendent report.
Okay. District report. Consideration to approve the Dillon Woods Track Athletic Cooperative Agreement between ALE and Marion Valley School District and Union School District starting the 2021-2022 school year and continuing to the 2023-2024 school year as attached.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
District enrollment numbers as of October 12th, 2021 are attached.
And I'll go ahead and give my report at this time. I have a number of items that I'd like to cover tonight. First being the PSBA Advocacy Day. That was held on October 14th. It was hosted by PSBA and done virtually. We met with Don Overlander, Scott Hutchinson, and was scheduled to meet with Lee James, but he did not arrive. Jennifer Fight and myself was part of those meetings. They were productive. We covered several issues. We talked about cyber school funding, substitute teacher shortage. We talked about mandate relief, and then we provided updates as far as how we're navigating the pandemic. The looming issue and the ongoing conversation with charter school reform. And our school board president did a wonderful job speaking with Senator Hutchinson. But just for your own information, the student that leaves the district, we have to pay for their tuition. General education students are $19,020.39 per student. Students identified with a special need is $43,188.25. According to Forecast 5, we're paying the most for special needs students than any school district in the state. The 2021-22 budget, we have $739,000 budgeted for outside cyber. The number of students that we had originally budgeted had increased, and we're going to be close to $800,000 paying for outside cyber. I'll quote Senator Hutchinson. He said, cyber schools are not going away. And we weren't trying to get them to go away, but what we're asking for is reform, and specifically upon the budget. And there's some action going on in Harrisburg that may help that, but everybody had their own ideas, and generally put pressure on Senator Hutchinson to start acting on them. And the big piece that I push each and every year is transparency. They're a public education institute. They should submit a budget just like public education, with a line item, with the revenues and expenditure. We're not a for-profit organization, so in the best case scenario, those line items meet at the end of the year. So hopefully we'll get some cyber charter school reform. With that being said, they are revisiting the Pennsylvania charter school laws, and they're clarifying 6 areas right now. Charter school application requirements, so that there's a consistent requirement for the applications that are submitted to start up charter schools. Non-discrimination enrollment policy, so that the school district will accept any student they don't pick and choose. The board of trustees are to go through the PSBA and sign up for the Employees Ethics Act to ensure that they're acting with the highest standards. Financial and auditing standards. A common accounting principle should be used in auditing standards. So we're hoping that that's a big push right there, that they be more transparent with their revenue and expenditure. And clarifying the district payment procedure. So as a student leaves, we're billed every month for those particular students. And sometimes there's some disagreement as far as when the students start, what kind of needs they have, whether they're identified or not identified, and then athletic support. So it gets a little messy at times and time consuming. And then the last one is to ensure their employees have healthcare benefits. So we have a little bit of discussion going, a little bit of movement, but right now we're still fighting the charter cyber school fight. In addition to that, in Harrisburg, there's a lot of activity. House Bill 1660 is to pull some authority from the local school board. So if this bill passes, it would allow school boards to put into a temporary emergency provision for 60 days for closures. So like we've done in the last couple of years, we've had to close down periodically due to COVID. This particular bill restricts the amount of time that they provide school boards to close, and every 60 days you have to reconfirm that application, which we haven't submitted, and the old legislation states that it's good for up to 4 years. So we need to oppose House Bill 1660. It reduces the school district's authority to establish alternative methods for delivery and instruction. Just an update on the Sr3 budget. We've been working just about every day after school, Carrie, Andrea, and myself, and we bring in the principals periodically. But we're moving some money around because we have the E-rate money coming in for technology. But currently, right now, we still have the school band down. Mark went out to the state bid list. It's going to be just over $41,000. We have a K-12 counselor down. We advertised, we have an applicant. We're planning on making a motion to hire in November. We just need to get this application submitted before we go ahead and start hiring people. And that's at a bachelor's 1, but that would be half the school year. Our HVAC project did run over, but it didn't run over as much as we had anticipated. It's just under $25,000 that we'll pull from Sr3 to put into the HVAC project. We're working on remediation supplies for assessment, furlough prevention, as we talked about, to ensure lower class sizes. We're working on a summer remediation program, after school remediation program throughout the year, and then we'll continue to keep the custodians on. We have 2 part-time custodians wiping down high traffic areas. So that's in the 21-22 school year, and then it mirrors the same for 22-23, and then 23, and then 24. And just keep in mind that we have to have the money spent out by September 2024. And next year we have down the math coach, the K-12 counselor, the furlough prevention pool that we talked about, after-school remediation, summer remediation program. We also have been working with Aaron Jeff about updating our technology within the classrooms, the Epson projectors, as well as document cameras, to ensure that we're able to focus in on the instruction of the students. And we also have technology software split between the 2 buildings to ensure that the teachers are able to keep their online learning going. We have a number of cleaning supplies in there and then additional Chromebooks. And then the final year, we have summer remediation, cleaning supplies, we have the math coach in there, professional development, after-school remediation, as well as supplies. And we almost have the budget pulled together right now. We're just moving a little bit of money around, but we'll be ready to submit that application. And a lot of these items, we've been discussing them. They came from our stakeholder feedback. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable as far as finishing out that ESSER3 application. And just keep in mind, we're just over $2.5 million through ESSER1, ESSER2, and ESSER3. There is some set aside money for learning loss. There's also additional money for homeless students of $9,900 for the district. So Andrea, Carrie, and myself, we've been putting a lot of time into that, making sure that our application is being submitted. Then I'll finish off with just a couple of programs here. I've been talking about the AC Valley Art Program. They did make a fantastic artwork on a cloud for PennDOT, and I know everybody's seen it. I've been sending out all kinds of information, but it was posted in the Butler Eagle and then also in various news sources with the electronic print. So we're real excited about Rachel and the students up at the high school. Dr. Vittorio, he has some information at your seat, which is a memo about the Autumn Symphonic Winds Band Festival, scheduled for November 6th. Get a minute to take a look at that. And then at the end of the day, I talked to Mrs. Braybuck, and she's partnering with AmeriCorps, and we're trying to get students here from AC Valley, seniors and juniors at the high school, to sign up for the AmeriCorps program, and then they can help tutor some of the elementary students, not only during the day after school, but also in the summer remediation program. And it's about $10,000 per student, but the district obligation would be about $1,200 per student. So we'd be able to write that into the ESSER3 narrative. So Julie's working with Minnie and Lori to figure out how many kids we have, and we'll be tying that piece into the budget as well. So hopefully next month you'll see another contract through AmeriCorps, and we'll be able to get some of our high school kids down here to tutor. Just two more items. One, we got our drinking water test results back. Each year we bring in a lab when we test the water for any kind of contaminants or heavy metals, and everything's within acceptable levels. I also posted this on the website. I had Aaron create a link, and we'll be sticking that up there for transparency. And we're real happy with the Foxford Water Authority and the collaboration they've had. We haven't had any kind of water issues at all. So the board over there is working very hard along with the school district. And then finally, I've been working on the comprehensive plan, the district-wide portal. Dr. Jordan and Mrs. Sherman is doing the same thing with building level plans. So we're collaborating, but you'll see here within the next couple of months, the updated teacher induction plan, the professional development plan, academic standard plan, and the gifted education plan as well. And Anna and Justin are working on the special education plan for the auditors. So we've got a lot going on, but we're moving in the right direction. Diane, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Dave, do you know the ECF funding, they just came out with a second wave? Can you apply for that if you've already got one?
I don't know. I didn't know there was a second wave coming.
Yeah. The application opened September 28th. I'll have to look.
Let me know, because this may be part of that second wave. I'm not sure enough about that that's coming out.
Okay.
Because I think the original E-rate application RJ submitted was the first pot of money, and then this was the
Well,
second.
they haven't announced the second one. This was like the first
Oh,
part of this ECF.
if we
So,
can, then we will.
I'll find out if you can do it. I'll look and see if you can go more than once, because try again and see what
Yeah,
happens.
we share any kind of.
Because they had all this money left over, so they opened it back up.
Yep, that's wonderful news.
Excellent. And here at your desk, or at your seats, I'm assuming this is Dave Sittler's report, and I went to look for it, he's not here. So you have that for your reference as what he's been doing for us this month. And so just as a quick side note to what David said, I wasn't able to join the meeting at with Donna Overlander, who's usually pretty good with us. Like she's a very good advocate for us and is always willing to listen when I call her, and at these discussions that we have that PSBA sets up. And like you said, Arlie James never showed up. He didn't email, didn't call, he just didn't show. So, yeah, which doesn't surprise me. Scott Hutchinson was very engaged with the conversation. He did ask some good questions about, kind of the remediation pieces that we were doing and things like that. But towards the end, I was getting extremely frustrated, and my frustration came out towards him. And I really did try to put some pressure on him to answer just the basic fact about, we gave him all of this information about cyber schools and the amount that it costs and the accountability that they don't have. And I just flat out asked him, I said, look, we have asked you for years in this venue to help us as a school district to mitigate those costs. I said, and I can tell you, this has been going on as probably as long as cyber schools have been around, and I know I've done it for 5 or 6 years at least. I said, and nothing at the state level seems to move. I said, you all cannot get your stuff together and do anything. I said, so I'm asking you as the school board president, I'm coming to you and I'm saying, I want something concrete. What can I do to help you move this along? And his response to me was that we should not support people who support cyber schools. That was what he told me. So obviously he did not understand the concrete, what can I do concretely to help this move along. And so it was interesting, a couple of the people that were on our meeting messaged me through Facebook later on in the day, and they are going to be, they're looking at trying to set up some kind of meeting with all the Clarion County schools, and setting up something so that we can maybe try to move forward. And if we have all of the schools backing this same kind of legislation or movement of the legislation, maybe they'll listen to us a little bit better. Whether I'm, as I'm not going to be on the school board, I said to the people that had messaged me, I'm not going to be on, but I will be happy to continue to help in terms of that, because I think that the amount of money that we have going out to these cyber schools is ridiculous.
Well,
So
that's the issue, because the money is running this thing.
yeah, that's exactly it.
The money's running it, and they can be out there in Harrisburg and grease fingers, and
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, even when I'm not on the board, I'll continue along with that if there's something that happens, and stay in touch with the people who are on the board, because I feel just very passionately about it. It's ridiculous. If we did not have 800,000 less out of our budget for cyber schooling, we would be damn close to a balanced budget. So it's just frustrating. So, but I did try to put some pressure on Scott, but we'll try again. So, all right. So let's move on. We don't have any policy this evening. Nothing under facilities since Mr. Milford is not here. Transportation. Janine, will you do that, please?
sure.
Item A, consideration to retroactively approve the request from E.M. Myers Transportation, Inc. to add a 2015 Honda Odyssey to her fleet. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item B, consideration to approve the request from Randy McClendon, Inc. to add Jennifer Roberts as a substitute driver pending an interview with administration. All required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved. Second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item C, consideration to approve the request from Lois Orton and Tracy Irwin to add Tim Quayle as a substitute driver
pending an interview with administration. All required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, Carrie, will you do miscellaneous?
Sure. We have a career center report. You gonna talk, Cory?
Corey, is there anything from the Career Center?
Yeah. The only thing is next Monday, we're gonna meet after a normal voting meeting and just to discuss the subsidy money and kind of the plan for the Career Center. So how much money we're planning that we'll need over the next few years and then just try to come up with some numbers. So that's really the only update.
Thank you.
I do report.
We don't have, I don't think we have one other than what is in our notes, Christina's not here.
Any correspondence? So we have consideration to accept the letter of resignation as school board director for Edmonton Borough from Lena Southworth effective immediately. So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? So, before we, well, let's vote on that and then I'll talk about sort of our plan. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Tam, would you, send a letter to Nina thanking her for her years of service? I think she was at 8 years. Just thanking her from the board. So David and I have kind of talked about this a little bit because now we're in this kind of situation where typically what happens, for those of you who have not been on the board and don't know this, typically what happens is when we have a resignation from a seat that we have 30 days to fill that seat. So we would advertise for applications from that district. And then if there was more than one at the next board meeting, we would have them kind of interview. We'd ask them questions and things like that. So if we did that at this particular point, so that means we put that out, we accept applications, we'd interview at the next meeting, and then we would choose someone to fill that seat for the remainder of the term. Well, that meeting is the remainder of the term. And so my feeling is, and you know, that in the middle of all of that, then is the general election, right, for the school board seat. Right. So my feeling is that we do not go through all of those motions because the poor person who is ever going to get put in place is not going to have the information ahead of time to make good decisions about whatever it is that's on the agenda for November.
And it'd be different if nobody was running, but we know we have people running for that position.
Right.
So.
Right.
I think
So
that's
is anybody opposed to us just leaving that seat vacant for November and then the new person, whoever is elected, will be sworn in for December?
Because if we were to put something in there, it'd be just over a week and then we
Right.
have the reorganization.
Right.
I agree with that.
Anybody opposed? Perfect. That's what we'll do then. All right.
Do we have anything from the technology committee?
We haven't met.
Okay, easy enough. Athletic committee updates? We did. I missed. This is the last one.
Talking about the go
Basically about the actions of the co-op and basketball coach.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Finance committee?
We haven't met.
Well, that was simple.
Okay. Easy. All right. Any old business? Any new business?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the senior trip to Williamsburg, Virginia on April 28th through 30th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Do you have any need for an executive session?
No, no.
Would somebody like to, oh, wait. That's just for information. Thank you. Would somebody like to make the motion? I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved in second and all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good night.
Have a good night, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Aye.
Bye, Corey, thanks.